Today is March 9th. Now I'm going to start planting some plants here. And so I figure March, I always go about two months ahead of time. You can do it that way. I've done it earlier for stronger plants. March 9th, that's 2 months, that's April and May. Actually, around Memorial Day I've even bought plants and put them in the ground. So to get them about that size by May, it's 2 months. That's about what I need. So what I did is, now I've started them before without going through all this. Literally, if you take a plant, a seed, you put it in the ground, it's going to grow. You have to have the right soil conditions and all that other stuff. But if you look at some of your tomatoes, like if you have tomatoes from last year in your garden, they come up on their own. They're volunteers. And those things literally, I've seen them in gardens so thick they look like grass. And the reason for that is because they're in a soil that they're going to be growing in. They're in a natural area. They're already built up to what climate they're in. They know their zone where they're going to be when they come up. Usually once last frost melts. And plus they have that tomato from last year. The tomato that you threw out, that you eat, that's what they're growing off of as well as the seeds. So that's really what they need. And as a grower, you're going to have to kind of try to mimic that if you're growing tomatoes. Peppers are a little more difficult, but one of the things you can do, I took some ground out of the garden, baked it in the oven, and I got rid of all the you want to get rid of all the molds and all the insects and anything that's in that ground. You want to get it nice and clean. You can also mix it with this stuff here. I get some starter seed, something good like that, and I'm growing. I got some cayenne pepper, I got some habanero, and some tomatoes. Let me throw some tomatoes in. I got one of these seed starter kits. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to go and I'm going to put a little bit of them in there, mark it, and then what I will do is I'll put the dome on top of it. And I'll put the dome on there for until they come up. Now you can use Epsom salts, you can use Miracle-Gro. Some people say this works, some people say that works. Some people say burn them. But the biggest thing is when they get about that tall and they got 2 leaves on them and they just fall over, people say, damn, it didn't work. Well, it's not that it didn't work. 9 chances out of 10 it's some kind of mold or fungus or bacteria or something in the ground. And there's several ways to get rid of that. You can get some Captain spray. You can use stuff like cinnamon, chamomile. Anything that's antifungal will work. And of course, you don't want to make it opportune. You don't want to make it too humid for them. Plants like moisture, but they don't like to be in these things don't grow in the rainforest. Okay. So you start your seed bed off this way, and you want to put it in a nice lit room for now. You want to keep it moist so they'll sprout and germinate. That's pretty much it. But these are just some of the basics. That's what I'm doing. Hopefully it'll work. So what I'm doing here basically is I took my soil bed and I put the ground in here and I moistened it. I put a lot of water in here. This is a very porous ground. And I'm going to put a little hole in there. And I'm going to take a couple of these seeds, probably about 3, maybe 4, and I'm going to drop them right in that hole. And I'm going to cover it up again. And there's really 2 methods to doing this. You can put a little bit of ground in there and water it, put the seeds in, then add more ground. Or you put more ground on top, or you can do it this way. Actually, the other way that I'm not doing it is probably the better way, because then your ground is nice and loose. When the seeds come up, they have better chance of sprouting and getting through that soil. I don't know. You want to give them as much of a chance as they can, and then when they get fairly large, you want to give them all the opportunity for the strongest one to survive, so you want to kind of like prune them. But I don't know if these are even going to sprout. You buy things, but you don't know what's good and what's not. So yeah, you want to do it this way, keep it consistent. Don't mix them up. You don't want tomatoes and peppers all together like I almost did right here. And that's how it works.